Namaskaram and a very good evening. Hope I'm audible to you all. So, as we discussed yesterday, we are meeting specifically to discuss how exactly are you going to clear in your group 1. So, this is valuable both for group 1 students and both group students. Can you confirm the screen is visible to you all? Thank you for the confirmation. So let us now directly get into it, because yesterday we already looked into the approach, the mindset required, the routine which has to be built. We looked into a lot of factors. Now we are directly get into the core aspect, right? So, how many of you here agree to this analysis? This is something which has been done through an internal survey. More than 60% of them believe that auditing is their weakest subject. So let's start with this. Let's start with this as a context. How many of you here find auditing as your weakest subject? Okay. Right. So let us have a mark sheet. Like yesterday, let us prepare a mark sheet for this. Should we target 45 in auditing? Is that a fair target? Can we achieve that 45? Simple. Yes or no? Charan, that's okay. We'll cross it. I'll show you the example also. I'll show you case studies. We'll cross it. Weakest is low scoring, Rijwan. If you say that you're strong, if you're not able to score, that's not going to be acceptable. So weakest is a low scoring one. Okay, so this is clear, right, for you? Okay, let's look at the mark sheet. Now, the survey or the analysis says the next subject which is weaker is your financial reporting. Can I write 52 here? Can we target 52? We'll revise the score, but I'm just trying to give you a simple standpoint. We'll revise it. We have to revise it. That is not going to be enough. So achievable for all of you? Yes or no? If I say 52 in financial reporting, is it achievable for all of you? Perfect. SFM, how many of you are confident, or how many of you think you can score an exemption in SFM? Exemption in SFM. Exemption in SFM. Okay, that's a good number of people. Good number of people. Let me write it. We'll recorrect. Not to worry. Okay. Yeah. And finally, law. How much should I give for law? Give me a number. You tell me. How much should I give for law? How much should I give for law? You give me a number. Okay, most of you are saying in the range of 52, 54, 50, 48, 50, 53, 54. Okay. Okay. Let us give it 50. Lower side. Is it fine? Do the math. Do the math. What's the total? If nobody is answering, I'm doing it. So 207 is what we have got. Okay. So this is what we are thinking roughly. Okay. This is what we are thinking that it can be achieved, right? So 207, good enough to clear. You'll be happy with this. How many of you will be happy with this mark sheet if you get this? How many of you happy with this? Happy with this? Fair enough. Most of us are very simple human beings, right? Not very ambitious, simple, focusing on the core aspect of clearing. Done. Now let us look at how it can be reflected. How it can be reflected in a real mark sheet. So if I have to mention the numbers here, FR we said 52, SFM 60, audit 45, and law 50. This is what we assume. Now let us look at what can be actually achieved. Okay. Now let us look at the average mark sheet. Let us look at the average mark sheet. Okay. For the sake of your memory, I'm writing the scores here. We have decided this, right? We have decided 52 in FR, 60 in SFM, 45 in audit, 50 in law, total 207. Now, in the actual mark sheets, which also the students have achieved, do you see anyone achieving less than 207? Anyone less than 207? Yes. Which implies the strategy which you're talking about will work, right? The strategy which you're talking about, we can cross this marks. We can cross this marks, right? Understanding? We can cross this. Let's do the auto correction. Now, if you look at law, with auto 50, 51 is there, 56 is there, 50 is there, 53 is there. Only one exception. Only one exception with Rajdi, the guy who said this is my last attempt and the last investment, same guy. So, law uniformly, most of the case studies which we have considered, they're able to cross 50 comfortably. They're able to cross. We have purposely kept one thing. The idea is not to say that everyone can cross law. So we have picked up somebody who were able to study in a time period less than 80 days or something. So we have brought in that category of students so that the marks are not extremely high, not extremely close. So this is the right referencing when you have 100 days. Perfect. So can we freeze law? All of you, can we freeze law to score 50? So I'm building the target mark sheet for you. Yesterday we had an understanding. Now we are getting into details. Okay, we're freezing law at 50. Done. Let's come to audit. Audit may 60. Exception, I'll tell you why is an exception. 48, 58, 44 again, Rajdev slightly less here. 51. So, can we cross 45 in audit also? I kept a target 7.2 marks less than the average. Now, should I make it 48? You tell me. Law we are freezing at 50. 50 is done. Okay, law 50 is done. Let me write it in green. Your audit tick. For audit, give me a number. 48 or 45? Give me a number. 48 or 45? 45, 45, 48, 48. See, we are writing practically. We are not writing 70 and then you'll get 50. No, we achieve what we get. That is the level of pressure in which we go. So based on the responses, I think there are equal number of 48 and 45. slightly more number of 48. So let me make it 48 for now. Okay. All right. We are looking at 48. Done. Let's look at SFM. SFM 65, 62, 60, 48 in SFM, 55. So 3 of them crossed the 60 mark, 2 of them did not cross the 60 mark. So what is the number which you want for SFM? Average is 58. We decided to be 60. Now I'm not giving a comparison. Give me a number which you can score in SFM. I'll take the average. Okay. Let me do it on the lower side. Let me do it on the lower side. Let me revise it to 55. Let me revise it to 55. Okay. So let's come to FR. We're given 52, but the scores are 61, 60, 50, 66, 70. Now, what do you want the revised score in FR to be? Let's go with the average. See, eventually the target which you have to fix will be further customized. But for us to build a base, I'm just looking at the average. So comparatively, if I have to see, highest has been scored in FR, 4 marks difference. So I'm just giving 58 for this. Okay. So people think they can score more in SFM, but generally FR is a good scoring subject that happens most of the time, as you can see on the scorecard. Okay. So if I have to add all of this, including FR, so this target here, we are looking at a target of 222, average of 222. We have landed at 211. We have landed at 211 with the scores 58 plus 55 plus 48 plus 50. This is the average target mark sheet which we achieved. So there will be variations. As you can see, Rajdeep has got exemptions in both of this. Now, Bhavika has got 48 in SFM, but 56 in law. For Rajdeep, it's the other way around. That will keep changing. But you need to understand that there has to be a base with which we have to start with and we can customize. So is it feasible for you? Is it achievable? If you can achieve this, please type I can achieve this. 58, 55, 48, and 50. Perfect. Are we clear with this? Are we clear with the base target? Are we clear with the base targets? If you're typing clear, let's look into the subject specific aspects. So now we are arrived at audit is the least scoring, FR is the highest scoring is the conclusion right here. Now let me dig deep into one individual case. The latest one, like most of you might be surprised about this particular case of Jashwin, about what has happened. Let's see how he was able to score an exemption audit, because I'm starting with the most difficult subject. Let's see what has happened for him in audit. Let's see what he has done in audit. Now let us first listen to him. Is audible? Okay, the video is not playing. Anyways, let's get into the scorecard directly. Is it visible for you guys? Is the scorecard visible for you? Okay, now let us look at the targets. What is the target we have set? The target we have set is 211. For financial reporting, what is the target we have decided? For financial reporting, what is the target we have decided? Now, are you able to see the screen? All of you are able to see the screen? Or let me reshare it. I hope everyone is able to see the screen. Okay, so what is the target we set for FR? I want you to remember and mention that. Target for FR. Okay, fair enough. Right. So we looked at 58. Is it achieved? Done. Target for SFM. Target for SFM. What is the target we have decided? Fair enough. Achieved. Audit. What is the target we have decided for audit? So there is a huge difference. 45 is the target. He has got 15 plus. So this makes the difference here. So out of the difference of 16 marks, 15 is because of audit directly, right? So audit has made a stunning difference. So let's look at how he was able to do audit that well. That is exactly the consideration. Law, what is the target we have set for law? I want all of you to have the targets in your mind. What is the target we decided? Fair enough. So the benchmark targets are all achieved. That is the reason why yes, clear. That's obvious. Now, let us understand what was done first. Let's say before we think about what needs to be done, let's look at what was done or what did Jashwin do in order to score that in audit. Okay, he has failed because of audit only in the previous attempts. Okay, so it all started. The reason why I'm showing this is it started on the month of end of January, which is February. So February, March, April, roughly around 90 days. I asked him to go ahead with the 100-day strategy only, but he had slightly less days as compared to the 100 days. So he's on the same starting point. Let's say you're listening to it today, if you're planning to get started today, this is the same starting point at which he was. Okay, this is there. And this is the finishing. This is a mark sheet which he has sent, and I had a conversation. So I mentioned that, yeah, I had a conversation with your father. Like his father was the one who, see, students cannot take decisions these days. Most of the parents are paying us and directly joining their kids. They're like, these guys don't understand the, see, students are always good at saving cost. Parents are good at understanding opportunity cost. Students always focus on the current cost. What is it costing? What is it happening? Parents always focus on the opportunity cost. How many of you agree to this? How many of you agree to this? How many of you notice this behavior? Parents generally focus on the opportunity cost, right? That's it. So that's the reason why his dad was able to take a decision. So end of the journey, and it is happening right now. It's happening in multiple cases. Even at final level, parents are taking decisions. So this is something which is worth. Make sure my son listens to you. If not, please call us. They're sharing their numbers also. So that is a good trend. Since parents are taking charge, and in fact, on July 22nd, we'll be announcing a concept of parent partner. We floated it last time also. This time we are going to implement it at a far more serious level. Okay. So this is what has happened in less than 100 days. Now let's look at what he has done, and then we'll specifically jump into audit. So he mentions that preparation plus mentorship is equal to pass. Preparation plus mentorship is equal to pass. Now, when asked him what exactly made you say this, he said he was always preparing. Now if you remove the word here, if you remove the mentorship, it was fail. So earlier, his intention of writing this first, while he was preparing, So preparation alone was leading to fail, only preparation. So preparation is necessary but not sufficient. So he then added this component which made the difference. That's it. The difference between pass and failure mentorship is what he has mentioned. So based on the equation, I'm a maths geek. So if this equation is true, pass minus fail is equal to mentorship, right? So this is exactly what he has conveyed in a simple single sentence. I appreciate that. Now, I knew right from the start of the course that discipline and proper guidance, discipline, very important. Discipline and proper guidance, very important. Will make the CA course easy, but it took years to find a mentorship program like this. As I said, that's the reason why I keep saying when the opportunity strikes, react immediately. I cleared group 2 of CA final and failed 2 times in group 1. Last time 185, I did hard work. I lacked in the method of preparation and exam presentation. So his problem were preparation and presentation. Two simple things. Look at how simple he's making. Preparation is a problem, presentation is a problem. He's mentioning that. The 100-day strategy was given by CA himself. This is what exactly you're learning, right? This is the 100-day strategy. Although, see, when you're going with the 100-day strategy, most likely you end up achieving the 100-day strategy in 90 days because 10 days normal loss will be there, but still you'll be able to complete the targets. And I started the preparation with boot camp, like 5-day boot camp. Same, most of you are doing it. Most of you will be starting it, which gave the confidence to start the preparation. So the boot camp gives the confidence to start the preparation. How many of you agree to this? How many of you agree to this? That the boot camp is giving you confidence to start the preparation. How many of you agree to this? Perfect. Yes. Perfect. Thank you. So you're doing the right thing. So this is going to go in the same direction. If you've done something good so far, you're going in the same direction. That's all it is. As consistent in filing the day and revision. Day and revision we always discussed. Day and revision, remember this word. Day and revision is very important. And summarizing all the topics which was helpful for revision. Exam mistake tracker helped me to understand where I am in the stage of preparation and the area to improve. Okay. So it's talking about day and revision. He's talking about exam mistake tracker. You need to summarize and simplify all of this. He's talking about boot camp. He's talking about guidance. He's talking about discipline. You don't have to remember everything. So look at the keywords. Look at the keywords. I knew I did hard work, but I lacked in the method of preparation presentation. So hard work is not enough. Hard work alone is not enough. You need to know the method of preparation and presentation. So in a way, what has shifted? What has shifted? He started following something. That something is this. Day and revision exam mistake tracker is a reason why he was able to crack this exam called audit, and that to score an exemption, especially in a time where audit was difficult. How many of you agree that audit has been difficult this time? How many of you found audit to be difficult, whether you've written it or not? You know that audit is difficult this time, or at least I can say different for that matter. Exam presentation session was very helpful to me as I lacked the most. You mentioned it already, right? Exam presentation is one aspect. I was able to score exemption in audit. Exemption audit, which was the toughest paper in my attempt. Exemption audit, which was the toughest paper in my attempt, only because of the tips sir gave us. And the mindset, I'll attempt 100 marks, even if I don't know anything. So the two things which we changed. When he spoke about audit, you always have some fear cycles. How many of you have this? How many of you have this fear cycles about audit? How many of you scared about audit? How many of you are scared about audit? So that is the case with most of you, right? Now, how do you address this? How do you address this? Let's say you're scared about something. What should you do? What should you do? If you're scared about something, what should you do? It's a general question. It's not about audit. If you're scared about something, what would you do? What should you do? Absolutely. Absolutely. First, remove the fear. Remove the fear. When you're scared about something, remove the fear. That's what it is, right? So how do you remove the fear? That is the most important part. So when you're scared of something, first remove the fear. Otherwise, if you're not removing the fear, you won't be able to tackle it. You won't be able to deal it. Let's say you have to talk, you have to discuss, you have to negotiate with your boss. If you're scared of talking to him, you cannot even talk. Forget about negotiation. You cannot even talk. First, remove the fear and then try to talk. Only then you'll be able to convey or communicate. Similarly, when you're scared of something, so you have to remove the fear. So that is exactly what we did. And most importantly, this is very important. Your decision to attempt for 100 marks, especially in audit and law, you have to attempt for 100 marks no matter what. No matter what, you have to attempt for 100 marks. That is where the day-end revision come into picture. That is where the index mapping exercise comes into picture. Day-end revision, index mapping exercise comes into picture for audit. We'll discuss this. But let's look at what I have mentioned. After writing the exams, I was scared about my results, but I trusted the process and my hard work. I was hoping for a positive result. On the result day, it was passed. The leap of 185 to 227 positive because of hard work and guidance of sir, who gave me this wonderful program, Super 36. Okay, so as mentioned about 100 days, I mentioned about Super 36. Now, in terms of what you have to learn, for audit, the first aspect, what did I advise him or what did I make him do? So we have a very detailed discussion. Like with Jashwin, I have a very detailed discussion. I can share you that. I after the session, I would recommend all of you to go and watch it. I can watch it. But what actually happened, I'll help you understand it. So first of all, audit as a subject is dry in the sense that you don't have numbers. In a way, you don't have numbers. When you don't have numbers, the problem is it gets vague. It gets a bit vague when you don't have numbers, because numbers are very clear. You know that whether you know or whether you don't know. When you don't have numbers, it is theory. You think you're right, but you're not so relevant. Let's say somebody asks you to define life. Most likely you'll get it as a vague response, right? Or if somebody asks a simple formula, Pythagorean theorem. So it is either right or wrong. It is very objective. Now, audit is subjective. Understand the difference? The biggest problem is not only for audit, even for law or other papers, when the subjectivity is more, it is difficult for you to create a structure. It is very difficult for you to create a structure when the subjectivity is more. So that is the reason why a lot of you, it's not that you do not understand it. It is not that it is complex. The biggest problem is how you're storing what you're studying and how you're retrieving and how you're presenting. So we call it revise, recall, and recite, all of this. So all the R functions we're talking about, you're not able to make it relevant and precise. Most of the time you're writing right answers, but you're writing vague answers. How many of you notice that you write vague answers for audit? How many of you notice that you're writing vague answers in audit? You're writing audit, your answer goes vague. You know, it's not that you don't know. Right. So first of all, you have to remove the vagueness out of it. You have to remove the vagueness out of it. When you have to remove the vagueness, what is important? You have to focus on certain core keywords which are very precise. Core keywords which are very precise, and you need to remember and retain over a long period of time. Now, how it can be done and how it has been done, probably Jashwin will explain it in a couple of minutes. Listen to him and I'll explain it further. Okay, 2 minutes. Listen to him, then we'll discuss the next steps in detail so that it will be clear for you.
Everyone, this is CA Jashwin. That feels great to introduce myself as a CA. This was possible only because of my hard work and the guidance given by CA Himakan sir. before coming to this mentorship, I was lacking in exam preparation and presentation. So this mentorship Super 36 program helped me especially in the preparation part and exam presentation part. There was this 100-day strategy which gave a proper timeline within which we have to complete the syllabus and start the revision. So it helped me to revise every subject at least 3 times before writing my final exams. And I filed the DER day and revision consistently, and that helped me to make precise notes, which was very useful during my revision time. Since we don't have much time to revise the entire subject, this small notes will be very helpful. That was done through DER, and which was a very useful technique. And EMT helped me to understand where I am standing in my preparation and the areas which I have to improve. And also the exam presentation part was very useful for me. Only because of that I got an exemption in audit, which was a very really tough paper in this attempt. Because in one session sir told us that even if you don't know answer to a question, if you know that it will be wrong, don't try to write a full page or 2 pages for that question. Instead, write just 2 or 3 lines, which will fetch you at least 1 or 2 marks. That's how I attempted the audit paper. I didn't know many questions, but I wrote what I know, at least 3 to 4 lines for every question, and I got exemption in audit. That was only because of the presentation tips exam presentation tips given by sir. This program was very helpful in clearing CA, and I got 227 marks from 185 marks in my last attempt. Thank you so much, sir. Because of you, I am CA today. Thank you.
So understood the presentation part. We are approaching the exam. As I said yesterday, you have to open up, you have to talk to the examiner. When you talk to the examiner, you should talk with a sense of integrity. Wrong answer, even when you know that the answer is not right, when you're talking about it, that will create trust issues. Right? Yesterday we discussed about talking to the examiner as if it's a written interview. When you know that an answer is wrong, you generally don't say a lie outrightly, right? Don't say a lie outrightly to someone who is interviewing you. But when you're writing it, why are you writing lies? Understanding, you know that you don't know the answer. But when you want to fill it up with something, when you want to make it a space filler, expecting you write the first line and last line, write something in the middle, do you think you're going to get some marks for that? So if you're able to relate to this, please type relatable. I'm mixing what we discussed yesterday. I brought in what Jeshwin had to say. He said one thing very clearly. When I don't know an answer, instead of writing 2 pages, I'm writing 2-3 words or 2-3 sentences. The idea is not to write less. The idea is to write right. The idea is to write it right. This is exactly what we are working on. So this is the most important insight which you have to begin with. Okay. So while you're going to the examination, it is not about loading. It is not about the loading the paper with a lot of content. It is all about writing the right words. Okay. So is this objective clear? So we have to score 45 plus. In order to score 45 plus, we have to write the right answers. Are we clear until this point? Then we'll jump into how. Are we clear until this point? Perfect. So we'll go deep into audit. We'll go deep into audit. But before that, we are slightly, I want you to pay attention to this. These are the various set of skills. These are the various set of skills ICAI is expecting you to learn. Okay, these are the various set of skills ICAI is expecting you to learn. Now, why are we discussing this? This is the most important thing which we have to discuss, because in your exam, ICI is testing you with comprehension knowledge, analysis and application, evaluation synthesis. Not your motivation, not your intention, not your confidence, not your emotion. Please understand it. If you're not having the ability to synthesize things, no matter how emotional you are about clearing CA, that is not going to help. Evaluation is important than evaluation. Because the whole point is, it is specifically framing certain questions to test you in this domain. It is specifically and deliberately framing certain questions to test you in this domain. Now, if you look at these keywords, how many of you can remember this? Compute, examine, decide, interpret. Most of the questions have this. Are able to relate to this when you're finding a question? Define, describe, explain. All the questions, majority of the questions have this. They're asking you. So you're worried about the lengthier part of the question. You're worried about the lengthier. There is a lot of content. No, this is the question. They're interested in this: analyze, compute, determine, estimate, decide, evaluate. How many of you can quickly correlate this? Yes or no? Yes or no? So this is what ICI is asking, and this is what you have to learn. In terms of the breakup, okay, these are the skills which ICI is expecting you to learn. In terms of the breakup, if you look at a subject like financial reporting, the analysis and application is 60 to 85%. 60 to 85% it's analysis. If you look at SFM, it is 50 to 60%. So, as I said, SFM is the reporting one. SFM is all about strategy. Your financial reporting is all about structure. Now, how many of you are able to understand why you find these two subjects to be very different? Like, have you ever thought about it? Your comfort level with FR will be very different from SFM. Although you can call it arithmetic, although they'll be easier than how we would find it in terms of theoretical papers like audit or law, you would definitely find a difference while you're preparing for FR and SFM. You cannot categorize both as arithmetic. They have a very significant difference in terms of your learning. How many of you noticed it? At the time of preparation and also at the time of presentation. So this is the reason. Comprehension knowledge is same, like the basic theory is same, but it is largely banking on your analysis and application. This is dependent on this. For audit and law, the highest weightage is for analysis and application with limited weightage here. So analysis and application without numbers. If you have numbers as a context, you will be able to analyze. Even though FR is having analysis and application, it has numbers. So when you have to analyze a subject to matter, not an object to matter, when you have to analyze a subject to matter, that requires a deep skill. This is why we are finding audit a bit difficult, because you have to analyze something which is vague. It's like philosophy. How would you break it down? It's like general theory. How would you break it down? So this is the only thing which I have to fix. If I have to make it simple, you have to improve your analysis and application audit. That's it. How would you analyze a particular situation? How would you apply what you studied? If you build this skill called analysis and application, you'll be able to crack audit, and that is exactly what has been done with Jashwin. Now, if you look at all the things which I have worked upon, now I'm going deep, because yesterday your maturity has become a different level altogether. I'm starting from that level, so I'm not going back to basics. So we're directly jumping into the core content. So if you systematically understood what we have discussed so far, and if you suddenly realized why you're lagging in audit, why you are finding it hard, although it looks easy, why you're actually finding it hard to write or score in audit, this is the single most important reason. You're not good at analysis and application in subjective aspects. What is subjective? Which is not objective, which is not having numbers, which is theoretical, is subjective. So this is the reason. Now, at this moment, if you already got a bulb on about audit, please type bulb on. If you already got that hit, okay, this is what is happening. It's not an emotional hit, it's a logical hit. It's a very logical hit. It's not to intensify something. It's a very clear and simple. but it's highly logical. We built logic in steps. It is done consciously. It is built on purpose. Today I've been shuffling with multiple things. I want you to pay attention. If you're not paying attention, you won't get it. Perfect. Perfect. Right? So this is what you have to understand about audit. And for each subject, there are multiple steps. We have done a very, very detailed understanding. So I'll get access to all of this. You need not worry about it. But let's go and look at audit. Okay. It's good to look at audit. Other papers also will discuss. But right now, if you solve the most difficult problem, it will be easy for you to solve other problems. Now, what happens in advanced auditing and professional ethics? To acquire the ability to analyze current auditing practices and procedures, then apply them in audit engagements. To acquire the ability to solve cases relating to audit engagements. Now, it is important for you to acquire the ability to analyze. Now, what is the skill which we discussed? Just now mention that complete skill. We looked at a skill, right, which is required for audit. What is the skill? What is the skill which we discussed? Absolutely. Analysis and application. So look at the objective. To acquire the ability to analyze current auditing practices and procedures and apply them. Ability to analyze and apply. Analysis, application. Ability to solve cases related to audit engagements. Analysis, application. This is as simple as clear. How would you analyze the situation? How would you apply? Analysis and apply. This is exactly how your auditing preparation is going to happen here. We're only focusing on how do you analyze things and how do you apply things. How do you analyze things? How do you apply things? That is exactly how we are going to do this. So this is the subject-wise, I would say chapter-wise breakup, module-wise breakup in terms of weightages. We'll give you the latest one, and we'll give you a far more simplified one. In terms of how you have to approach this. So let me take one step further here. Let us take one step further here. So these are the number of marks. Which you have to work upon in audit. Almost 60 marks. Almost 60 marks is dependent on the skill. Now, if you build this skill, now what happened with Justin? He got 35. So we helped them improve his skill. So this was fine. The way I understand is this 25-15 out of 40 marks, he was able to score, let's say 25 marks. Out of the 60 marks, he was able to score only 15 marks. Now, what has changed? We were able to build this skill at a particular level. Out of 60, he was able to score 35, and that 25 marks is addition. So 35 to 60, 25 mark addition. So the 25 mark addition happened in analysis and application. So you just have to understand how you can score well in the 60 marks. If I say if you can increase around 20 marks in audit, if you can increase 20 marks in audit to your existing score, how many of you can pass in audit? How many of you can cross 45 plus in audit? If 20 marks are added to your existing score, how many of you can cross 40 plus? 45 plus, not 40. Why 40? 45 plus. So now you found what has to be done. Is the solution simplified? I'm not saying it is easy, but if you think the solution is simplified for audit, the solution is here, right? It's here. It's not anywhere else. Whether you're interested in audit, whether you know the chapter, whether you know the subject, which faculty, which book, test series. It's right here, right here. It's right here. So this is how we are going to work upon it. And once we start working upon this, it will take 1 week to 10 days. 1 week to 10 days is what it will take for you to solve. Now, for us to get here, it took us a lot of time. Highest amount of time has been invested in this subject. And a lot of people who join our mentorship join only for audit, because they are so impressed with the approach. They're so impressed with the improvement in marks which they're noticing. We put a lot of time. So we call it a critical success factor. Yesterday I was talking about it, right? What exactly is a critical success factor? We noticed that if we can help students clear audit, they'll be able to cross the entire group. And in this process, if you notice, there is 60 marks in law, there are 16 marks in law, which is also linked to this analysis and application. You don't have to rebuild the skill there. Once you build it here, automatically you'll get good marks in law. That is the reason why, although we don't put in the same efforts as that of audit in law score will also cross. Now, what was the average score which you noticed in law, if you remember? Yes, we get an average of higher average in audit than law, definitely. But as a byproduct, since we are also addressing this, what is the average score which you noticed in law? Fair enough. At 51, this is what it is. So all you have to do is, in terms of clearing group 1, this is not just about audit. This is not just about audit, because you can add 20 marks here, 10 marks in law, 30 marks can outrightly be added only because of this one simple skill which you are going to build in 7 days to 10 days. We do a series of techniques, we do a series of things to get there. We even make you write PPTs so that your mind becomes very structured. We even make you write PPTs also, because the idea is, how do your mind become structured as compared to how it is functioning right now. So, keeping this into consideration, let's say if you fix this, if you are going to add 30 marks in audit and law, audit we can add 20 marks, law we can add easily 10 to 15 marks, you can add 35 marks up to, okay. Let's say if 35 marks are added to your existing score, if 35 marks are added to your existing group 1 score, what will be the outcome? If 35 more marks are added to your existing score, what will be the outcome, or what will be the further difference for you? Your existing previous score in group 1, what is the outcome? Or how many marks would you still need? Okay, apart from this 35 marks, if I'm adding 35 marks, let's say somebody scored 170. If I'm adding 35, they already pass. If you think you'll pass, please type pass. If you think you need another 10 marks, if you need another 15 marks, if you need another 20 marks, please mention the number of marks. So I'm making this exercise simple here. Somebody got 160. 35 is equal to 195. We need to get 5 marks. Just mention 5. Somebody got 175. I'm adding 35. Becomes 210. Please type pass. If this 35 marks is going to help you pass, please type pass. Or if there is a balance, 5 marks, 10 marks, 15 marks, whatever it is, if there is a balance which is left, please mention the balance number. The reason why I'm making you write this, can somebody tell me why I'm making you write this? Why are you writing this? Why am I making you write this? Number one, if you're able to pass with this 30 mark difference, if you're able to pass with this 30 mark difference or 35 marks this, or if you're slightly falling short of 5 marks, you can happily plan for the other group. All those people who can pass with this intervention, because this can be done in probably 20 days. This intervention can be done in 20 days. So you have remaining time to prepare for the other group. You can reasonably give it a shot. For those where there is a bigger variation, I want to think, finish this gap and take the next step. Understanding if group 1 is your primary group, if group 1 is your primary group, again, if group 2 is your primary group, that's a different part. If group 1 is your primary group, if even after bridging this gap, if there are another 30 marks, 35 marks to be done, you have to fix that gap, probably in FR and SFM, probably 15 marks each, similarly, and then move on to the second group. If this is clear till this point, please type clear. We'll keep coming back to the decision. We'll keep, yes, all your responses are right, but the decision making cannot happen in a single sentence. Should I write one group or two groups? Somebody on YouTube giving you write one group, that is not going to help. So you need to become more and more clear as we proceed forward. Now, as we are discussing, as we are looking at this, as you're looking at what Jashwin has done, how many of you are reasonably excited to solve this problem? Now, from fear and excitement are almost the same. How many of you are reasonably excited to solve this problem? Because I want to understand the problem comes, what is the reaction? What is the response? Excited? How many of you want to know how I solve real life problems before I proceed forward? How many of you, because everyone has problems, right? How many of you want to know how I solve real life problems? Do you really want to know? All right. Fair enough. Now I'm showing you because I have no doubt that you won't clear CA. That is, I never have that doubt. I always believe you completely because you've done that work. And most importantly, it's just 30-40 marks, guys, because the distance between failure to pass is huge. But the distance between not building application and analysis versus building an application analysis, for many of you, just building this one skill can help you pass. Similarly, one more skill, let's say evaluation synthesis, 2 skills. If you work on it for, let's say, 15 days, you'll be able to clear. So that is never my worry. What I actually wanted to achieve through this interaction or processes, how do you face real life challenges? How do you actually face them? And the challenges are so hard because what actually happens is we go through internal problems. Now, what is an internal problem? You wrote an exam, you did not clear, so your mind keeps something. But once you come out to the public, your problem is no longer internal. It becomes external. It kind of hits you very hard externally. It becomes a completely external problem. The reason why I'm sharing is yesterday with certain steps I noticed that most of you are able to enhance your maturity. I saw the 3 things which you mentioned. I saw the single and description because you're able to take matured content. I'm liking that. So that's the reason why I'm giving you something very personal. Normally, I would not prefer to share any of this, but I'm trusting you more than before. I'm trusting you more than before because of yesterday what has happened, and I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that improvement. So I don't want to come down and teach at your level. I want to lift you and operate at the level at which I would like to, or at the level at which I say would you like to do, and at the level at which your potential employer is going to hire you. That is a particular level, right? So this example will level up your approach to solving problems. If you're excited to level up, just type level up. If you're excited to level up, please type level up. If you're excited to level up, leveling up is like, it's not normal improvement. It's a significant shift. Perfect. Now let's try to understand the problem. Let's try to understand the problem. Think clearly. Now we are an online institution, right? We are an online organization currently. Like offline is restricted to very few people. I would say VIP recommendation when somebody wants my personal attention. If I cannot say no, if I just cannot say no, somehow we kind of a few students stay with me here at my same home. Like when I approach, they live along with me. I'll talk more about this at a later point of time, but that happens. Now, what do you think? What do you think for an online organization is important to grow? What is important for an online organization to grow? How would people take decisions to join an online organization? What is the most important thing? How would people take decision? Let's say physical. When you have to join a physical college, right? Nitisha says trust. I want something far more specific. Now, when you have to join a college, you'll go and visit that college, right? Physically, you'll go and visit that college. Yes, how is trust for an online institution? I want to think clearly. What is the base? You're almost there? Trust, reference. What is that base? Testimonials. You're almost close, Nirja. Like what is the base? Yes, I want a specific something more specific. Okay, I'll give you an example. For offline, you will go. See, thought and way of working comes at a later point of time. Results. How would you know we'll getting results? What is that address, or what is that reference with which people will take a decision? For offline, it's a building. For offline college, they'll go and visit the premises. For online, what is the analogy for a building? How would you know? How would you know about an institute when you're going online? Almost there. Almost there. Yes. Almost there. Reviews. Durga actually fantastic. Reviews, right? Reviews, right? Now, where do you get these reviews? See, all of this are there. See, I have hundreds of case studies, but how can I give it to someone? In the workshop mode, you're already inside. For somebody who is not yet there, how would you know? Right? Reviews. So when I talk about reviews, where do you get these reviews? Where do you get these reviews? Where do you get these reviews? Where are these reviews important? So where do you find these reviews? Where do you find these reviews? Think about it. You're almost there. Where do you find these reviews? Yeah, where do you find them? Yes, of course, the reviews are from past students only. Who else will give it? Where do you find them? Where do you find them? Where do you find them? How do you find the reviews? YouTube? What else? What else? Would people give reviews on Facebook? Seriously? Where do you find reviews? Where do you find reviews, guys? Come on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Where do you find reviews? Google, right? For any online organization, if you have used it, because I'll tell you, the reason why you're not knowing it is in CA ecosystem, many people hesitate to have a Google page. A lot of people have hesitate to maintain a Google page because it is very easy to destroy someone on a Google page. That is the reason why I think many faculties are very popular. They don't have Google pages. They don't have it. They don't have it. In website, you'll only have reviews which the organization decided to show. In Google, everybody can come and type, right? Everybody, whoever can come and type anything, right? How many of you understood Google reviews Google reviews are far more authentic than website reviews. Normally, in general, let's say if somebody, because website you can write anything. Understand? Yes. So while we are opening the Google page, a lot of my seniors, especially in CA ecosystem, said, don't do that. These days, what is happening is the moment you start going, you'll get a lot of attacks from competitor where they'll come and write some random reviews where you cannot defend. And when somebody is coming and reading them for the very first time, they will not be able to distinguish. So it's a risk. So when I asked some reputed institutions, why are they not maintaining a Google page? They mentioned the same. But I am somebody, if you look at how my students describe me, I love to be brutally honest. I always love to be brutally honest. I want to keep it the way it is. See, when you open up, there are two possibilities. Somebody will give you positive, somebody will give you negative. But with the kind of work, we're always hopeful, we're always confident that there'll be more positive than negative. That is something which I'll always, and that has been the case. The first, I would say, 250, 260 reviews, we all got 5 rated reviews, 250, 260, 5 rated. And once in a while, we get negative. That's totally fine. But recently, especially after the results, especially after these results, we noticed a trend. We noticed a very peculiar trend where every 18 hours, somebody comes and drops a random review. And these reviews are so disturbing that you don't even know how to respond. You don't even know how to react. It doesn't talk about the program. It talks about damaging your credibility, and you cannot identify any other student, not even in the free workshop. Now, these are some people who are not CS students, because you can go back and check who they are in a reasonable way. You cannot know the complete details. But the whole point is, we are finding it strange because it's happening within a particular frequency, particular interval. All the positive reviews hardly get 1 or 2 likes because people don't go and like reviews specifically. But these negative reviews are surprisingly getting 10 likes in just 8, 10 hours. That kind of visibility is not normally happening. So how would you deal with the situation? Is it a dangerous situation when you suddenly find a lot of negative reviews coming and attacking you consistently, where you cannot defend, where you cannot do anything, and then somebody finds, because people, they don't know, right? They don't know to listen to all this explanation, right? Is it dangerous? Yes or no? Dangerous for business? Dangerous. And the reviews are not about the quality of mentorship. They talk about, wait, I'll show you that. I'll practically show you. So literally, when I first read them, because when I first got notice of that, when I first read them, involuntarily I almost cried. It's like somebody, I'll tell you how it is. Somebody saying something bad about your mother, father, or baby, right? It's like a family. It's like a family. See, if you know that it is not true, but if somebody says something so demeaning to somebody whom you closely love or believe in, isn't it hurting outrightly? Because you're not having your guards. So somebody says that some talks rubbish about your family or probably about your kid. It hurts, right? You're agreeing to this no matter how strong you are. Somebody says something very harsh to you. Very, very harsh. Out of nowhere. So when I first read it 3 days ago, I cried involuntarily. And I generally, my tears come very rarely because I built a mechanism to handle things, but I cried involuntarily. That is the kind of impact when it first happened. And when I checked with some other friends and colleagues, first thing they said, we told you not to have Google reviews. Second, this is just the starting. This is just the starting. It's an indicator that you're growing, but they want to change the ratio. At some point of time, it was 5, 250 reviews, 5 rated. Then it became 4.8. Now they want to change it. They want to get it to less than 4 so that you no longer become credible. That is how they destroy it. You don't know who is doing it. You don't know what needs to be done. So it is something so disturbing. It is something so demeaning, and you cannot respond also. Now, what would you do in a situation like this? Now, if you understood the context of it, what would you do in a situation like this? If you're in my position, what would you do? What would you do in a situation like this? I want everyone to think and respond. No, you cannot delete them. That's not the point. Right? Deleting them means, see, if you keep deleting them or removing Google reviews, now your original objective goes for a toss, right? You want to keep it open. See, if you always want people to come and review whenever they want, that is not the objective. But when you get it, you cannot do anything. See, the standard response, I'll tell you, the standard response is every company responds like this, whether it's a true review or fake review. We notice this. We apologize for the inconvenience. Please drop us an email or please call us on this number. Now, how many of you noticed this? A template response. That is what I have been given advice about. This is exactly how you need to respond, right? But I did not like it. Why should I apologize to someone who is writing a fake review? It's like somebody coming and saying something about your family, and you should apologize in turn. So, you know, when this happened, like we call it a corridor of uncertainty. We call it a corridor of uncertainty where you're kept in a spot. You cannot do anything because the more you try to react, the more you try to respond, people think that is true. So it's very different, guys. Because for you trust me. The reason why you kind of like for you not understand the impact of it because you know me. For somebody who doesn't know anything about us, look at if they see a series of bad reviews first, especially latest, especially very demeaning. Wouldn't it impact the decision? If they don't know anything about us, it impacts them, right? Understanding? So keep thinking about the solution. Keep thinking about the solution. I'll show you what I'm meaning. So once we open, let's say when I open this Google review, you'll be able to see things a bit clearly. Are you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen? So when somebody opens a Google page, Google automatically picks up the most relevant review. For example, this is it's called most relevant. If somebody changes it, I'll show you how we can filter using separate steps. So this is the moment somebody opens it, this is what it gets. As I said, until 250, it was almost 5. And because of this attack, it is going down. We saw that becoming 4.8 and 4.7, 4.6 in just 2 to 3 days. It hurts because a lot of institutes actually get fake positive reviews, getting fake negative reviews. That is very hurtful. Now, see, this is what Bhavika has mentioned. I was a student in Subudarshik batch of May 23. Fortunately, was able to pass too. This was my first attempt. I came to sir after failing my November 22 exam, and I still remember the call very well. The amount of faith that he has shown without knowing much about my journey, it gave me the confidence to even start my preparation. And the phone call made me see how detailed she had mentioned. What happened with Bhavika was when she failed, she was not having the confidence to write even one group. Then understood the situation. Then we looked at the situation. Then I said, I just mentioned to a lot of people, right? If you're able to cross 200, you can go with both groups. Now I looked at the situation. Now I gave her a very solid reason why she could go for both groups. And the rest is history. Like, well, during the attempt, previous one was a haphazard one. Now it has become very, very systematic. My approach was to focus only on one group. She mentioned everything. The whole idea behind it mentioned. She looked at how detailed it is. Look at how detailed and beautiful it is. It clearly explains how much effort she has done. So when a student, when a girl who is struggling puts in a lot of effort, puts in a lot of work, mentions everything, writes everything in a detailed manner, you hardly get any likes. Like, you hardly find any likes here. Noticing it? Noticing it? By which I'm going to say, there is not much traction because we don't advertise. we are very calm and silent in a particular way, where we are intensive to a limited crowd. People who are in the mailing list, people who are in the WhatsApp groups and app, we are only intensive. We are not wide. We don't do wide work. That's the reason why we are not active on YouTube and other media. We are focused on deep work. So we don't expect a lot of traction. So if I have to look at it further, for example, Jeshwin also mentioned a detail one. Again, I cleared this. I at the start of the screenshot which I showed is taken from this. This is the same review which I have showed user the screenshot. No, they mentioned again 0 likes. No, again 0 likes. Okay, this is what normally happens. This is normally what normally happens. Now, what we are noticing is well, there is a problem here. Let's look at newest one. What is happening? So I'll tell you something very interesting. So this is a review which we have got 6 days ago. Unprofessional behavior, interested in making money than providing mentorship. Okay, somebody wrote something. We wanted to know who it is. We wanted to know whether it's a student. If it is a student, definitely we will be responsible, because we respect your opinion, whether you like it or not. We respect it. That is totally fine. But the whole point is, if you look at it, the same sentence, exactly the same sentence is repeated. The same sentence is repeated even without changing a word. The same sentence, and it is consciously done, because when you start doing it, repeated number of times, it comes to the top. And what's interesting is, when this is copied, probably the number 9 is also copied. If you look at the review, the 9 is also copied. The 9 is also copied from this, because when you kind of do that, so I don't know why the instruction is given like that, where they have to mention the same. So we are noticing this trend. Now we know what is happening. But when somebody who is coming for the very first time, it will be very hard for them to distinguish. It will be very, very hard for them to actually distinguish. Yeah, spelling. See, it's the same sentence. It's the same bloody sentence. Now, first when they mentioned it, I thought, okay, we're not able to identify it. So we left it like that. But today, when I saw this, I decided, somebody sent me a template message, something like this, sorry for the inconvenience. We always try to improve. Please share your registration details so that we can reach out to personally. Contact number, mail. This is the standard template they do. This is what I was supposed to do, but then I ended up doing this. This is my response. You can spend some time. You can have a quick look at the response. This is a very dangerous response, but I'm telling you how I operate. Now, this is not to say that this is right, and this will trigger a lot of more negative reviews, but this is exactly how we go about. When I'm talking about the stand of being brutally honest, this is what I mean. You can have a look quickly, because this guy, either to gain attention or either to grab some attraction, he just gave us 5 stars, and then he mentioned the same. So this is exactly what my response is. You give 5 stars while you are paid to give 1 star. And we mentioned about the pattern, posting a negative review every 18 hours and then getting it liked with the same 8 and 10 members. And inspirational reviews of students who clear exams after tremendous efforts hardly get noticed. I just showed you, right? Bhavika, Jeshwin, and all those who cleared. They don't even get single like. It means people are not paying attention to that. Now, how would a fake review get 9 likes, as I showed? And you need to get better coordinate with your team, because you're writing the same exact words, and these are the issues which you should work upon. So I said I'll help you in terms of creating a fake review. This is exactly what you have to do. So they keep using these words: unprofessional, unethical, immoral, unapproachable, and all of this. And this is what I emphasize. Say, whenever you want to make somebody affect somebody's credibility, you kind of affect them with certain character assassination terms. Mostly this is very common, because the trust is, I'll have to invest, what will happen to my money. So this is a very popular word which all institute uses when you have to attack some other competition. This is a very popular word which everyone uses. So this is something which they continuously use. So this is some. And the other part is, a lot of female names are being used, writing very unsafe approach. So this creates some suspicion unnecessarily. But the whole point is, we are completely online organization. So let's assume that you're right. It sounds like a joke because when it's an online, what is the answer part in terms of approach? And this is exactly how I responded to them uprightly. And in fact, I understand why somebody has to do it. Normally, I got to know that whether you have to do a positive review or negative review. There are some people. Yes, negative response get more response compared to positive. It's always like that. There are some people who get paid anywhere between 100 to 200. Like we get a lot of offers. When we started, we said, "Sir, we'll give you 500 5-rated reviews for X amount of money." I was like, I found it funny. Like, what's the point of it? Now I'm understanding why this is happening in the market. So these people don't know what else to do. See, probably they're also youngsters, right? See, if I have to look at this person, probably he or she is not having a job. Now let's assume this. He's not that educated, or he doesn't know what else to do. Now somebody would have told, please start earning 500 rupees per day or whatever it is. So this is his life. Now that's the reason why I mentioned do what you're paid for, nothing personal. Since you're in this profession, that's okay. But in case you want to upgrade your life, I'm asking him to join our Confusion to Clarity and give us a real review after experiencing the program. So this is exactly what I thought. Again, this approach always built a particular personality and character to me. This approach always built a particular personality and character. I'm not saying this is the right way, but this worked for me. So someone who are able to resonate with the approach, if you're looking at why you like us or why you're able to take a stand, and that is the reason why I said when people say that market programs are available at 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, we say the same thing. Like, what's the point? Like, that's okay, they're available, but are they effective? They're useful. Tell me something which is useful, not something which is available or cheap, right? So this is the exact approach which we are following. This is the approach which I'm following. And right now, since he has spoke me, like the whole point is he's poking me and he's actually taking it to a very different level. I know which competitor might have done it, but we don't want to share their name, nothing like that, because I understand it. It's part of the business for many people that do it in a different way. But I want to respond in a different way. One is doing this. One is, how many of you like the response first? How many of you like this response? How many of you like this response? I enjoyed the response. Interesting. So see, until now, my response is only at a particular level. The real response is going to happen now. Until now, the response, yeah, it's matured and sarcastic and all of that. Right now, you'll see the actual response. Okay, now you'll see the, yeah, it's little risky. It's not little risky. It's very risky. It is very risky, and I'm taking this risk. Because I trust my students. Because I know that I have a set of people who are going to protect what we are doing. Yes, it's like placing hydrogen bomb. It is, of course, it is. Now, see, the whole point is when negativity can spread, why not positivity? When negativity can spread, why not positivity? So I've shared a link here. Are you able to click that link? So I'll show you real life case study. This is exciting. This is only for let me discuss something very deep, which was helpful for me to clear see and handle personal issues, and most importantly, handle all of this. I'll share you something very profound here. You're lucky if you're attending the session because I'm sharing something